Welcome back to part 10 of the rigging tutorial series. I'm Igor K Handel. Okay, our workflow tip for this video. If you remember in the last video, we not only saved a new library, but we named it with an A, and as you can see I've restarted TS and now it comes up closer to the top of the library browser. I'll double left click on that to open it up. Now, as you can see, we've got our skeleton 1 here. I can rename that and call this my skeleton. Call it number 1. But this is a very small icon. If you right mouse click on it, you can change the thumbnail. You can have 3D object, which is actually no different. You can have the work view, which shows you the background screen and the icons. You can have the screen, which includes all the icons down the bottom as well. You can have an ordinary icon, which is a TS assigned icon, not very useful in this case. A library icon, because it knows it's a skeleton, this is the library icon for skeletons. An automatic, which in this case is the same as when I initially saved it. So hopefully that should help with your visualization of the actual icons, so you can differentiate one skeleton from another. Okay, on with the rigging. Let's have a look at some more of the IK options. Right mouse click on the IK handle, control left drag to look at the default or the properties that we've set on this IK handle. So far we've used global locks, lock children, posing only, firm handle and preserve bone orientation. So let's now have a look at invert IK groups, and for this I'm going to make a new skeleton. So let's start with a new scene, file, new scene. Here we go. I'm going to go into perspective view. In fact, no, let's go to top-down view. Well, let's build a new skeleton. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click on my build skeleton tool and I'm going to set the default angles. They were at 45, I've actually had a little play here and I'm setting them to 60. Okay, we're now going to build a skeleton, and as you see it's going to be placed on the ground. I'm building it from left to right. Guys and gals, I would like you to meet Sid the Snake. Okay, I'm going to make an IK handle on Sid's nose, and I'm going to put a position lock at the end of his tail. I'm then going to associate the position lock with that IK handle, so it's activated. And let's go into the default properties for the IK handle and sort out what we want for that. Let's take them all off for the minute. To me this is a better default for an IK handle, up to you. Unfortunately you can't save the default, so you keep having to do this every time you create an IK handle. Okay, here's the current behavior for this IK handle. This is hissing Sid in all his glory. Not so sure about his colour scheme, maybe it should be called a female name. Okay. Let's first of all turn on preserve bone orientation, which we've used before. And if you remember, that's going to make it so that the first bone closest to the IK handle is going to retain its rotation. Now we have this behavior which keeps his nose pointing horizontal. Alright, we'll take that off. As a matter of interest, it's not going to help, but if I was to lock the children, it's saying basically anything that's a child of here is going to be locked. So now what you'll find is he won't move. He's got rigor mortis. Okay, so we'll take that off. What I'm going to do now is we're going to have a look at rotation locks. So I'm going to put a rotation lock here, and I'm going to associate it with this IK handle. Now what happens is he will only rotate from this first bone, and everything from here down the hierarchy is locked. It cannot rotate. Now rotation locks are different than position locks because the second one you place actually turns off the rotation locking behavior. So let me also associate that one with this IK handle. So what I'm saying is that this first one is saying lock all rotations from this point onwards down the hierarchy, and then the second one is saying do the opposite of the previous one. In other words, unlock the rotations from this point down the hierarchy. Now let's have a look at the behavior. You can see that this bone rotation is being locked, but from that point, from this second one's point onwards, the rotations are activated again. If I was to place a third one, again we'll associate it with this IK handle. I'm saying turn on rotation lock from here, turn off rotation lock from here, and now this is turn back on again the rotation lock from here. So now this is locked in this rotation position. This is locked in this rotation position right down to the end of the hierarchy. But this middle one, this is going on with rotation locks, off with the rotation locks, so this one can rotate, and back on again. So the alternative placing of the rotation locks will turn on and off rotation. Okay, let's try turning the middle one off just to see what happens. So we're going to have rotation lock on from this point and then off from this point. Now look what happens. It's staying on from here to here, like so. But from here onwards, the rotations are unlocked again. So with a combination of this, you've got multiple variations of what you can actually do with your skeleton. Let's turn preserve bone orientation back on again, keep his head, and effectively that's combining the orientation of his head, staying at the same angle, locking these two, and then unlocking these two. There are absolutely loads of permutations you can do with this. And that basically covers rotation locks. See you in the next video. IK Handel. Cheers.